He likes to call himself the MVP of the Navy. I just call him the U.S. Secretary of the Navy. He's Ray Mabus, the 75th United States Secretary of the Navy and the longest to serve as the leader of the Navy and Marine Corps since World War I. Yeah, we had a faux pas earlier. We said that you'd be using the latrine. Our bathroom is under construction. And then we had some Naval Academy folks who said it's a head. You call it the head.
Right.
What did you think of our bathroom, by the way?
Oh, it's great. It needs work.
It does. Yeah. You picked the wrong time to come here. We picked the wrong time to renovate our bathroom. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but the rest of the place.
You like the man cave?
The rest of the place is pretty cool.
Do you have a man cave?
I do.
What's in your man cave?
Big TV and lots of bladed weapons.
So you got a bunch of swords,
knives, stuff like that.
Got any sports memorabilia there?
Oh, yeah. I got lots of sports memorabilia.
Like what? What would surprise me there?
I'm not sure it would surprise you, but I've thrown out a first pitch in all 30 stadiums. I got the first pitch balls from
no kidding.
All 30. I'm the only person on earth that's done that.
Wow, I'm impressed by that. Well, how are your pitches? I haven't seen the pitches, though.
Straight, right over the plate.
Of course they were, yeah. And nobody's going to call a ball on you. I mean, you're the Secretary of the Navy. They're going, that was a great pitch there, Secretary.
Yeah, I've learned 3 things throwing out the first pitch.
Okay.
Don't go up on the mound.
Yes.
Throw high.
Yeah.
Arm my age isn't going to overthrow anybody.
Yeah.
And nobody comes to see the first pitch.
I still go back to when I think of Navy football, you can't help but think of Roger Staubach.
Right.
The importance of Staubach to the Navy football team was what? Can you put it into words?
Oh, it's huge. And, the jerseys that they sell at the midshipman store all have his number on them. Still, almost, 50 years after he was a player. And he comes to Navy all the time. He's at every Army-Navy game that I've been to. But just the fact you've got a Heisman Trophy winner, the fact that they went to one of the big bowl games his senior year, and he wasn't the only Heisman Trophy winner in that period of time. I mean, Joe Bellino was there too, but Staubach and his continuing ties to Navy, the fact that he went on active duty,
because he didn't get to the NFL till he was around 28, I think.
Right, he spent 4 or 5 years on active duty during Vietnam, and then went and won a Super Bowl or several Super Bowls with the Cowboys and made the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, you've got him in football, you got David Robinson, basketball. So Navy's got a pretty good, pretty rich history in all these sports.
Trying to accommodate the athletes and understand what their role. They're going to the academy for one purpose, but they're also playing sports. Let's look in the future here can you modify their commitment? Can you open it up even more than what you did for Keenan Reynolds? How important is recruiting, getting maybe more of a marquee athlete there?
The reason you go to the Naval Academy is to become a naval officer, a Marine officer. That's the main reason. Mm-hmm. And the only reason we modified people like Keenan, modified their service commitment, is because they help us recruit not athletes, but just great midshipmen. I mean, Navy, the Naval Academy, #1 public university in America, according to U.S. News and World Report. #2, STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, after a school called MIT. Mm-hmm. And these guys and these women, but these guys that play football for Navy, go to one of the toughest academic institutions in the country. And they've got to meet all those requirements. They've got to meet all their military requirements. And then they play Division I football, and they beat people like Notre Dame this year. I mean, that's astounding. 92% of Navy athletes graduate on time. 92%. After their second year, everybody in Navy has to make a decision. It's called the 2 for 7 dinner. If you sign up for those last 2 years at the academy, you're signing up for another 5. And somebody like Keenan Reynolds went into that, signed up.
Wow.
And that's pretty astounding. We had last year more than 20,000 applicants for about 1,100 places. We get the best people, and 60% play intercollegiate athletics.
What happened after 9/11 with those numbers?
They went up after 9/11, but they're the highest they've ever been now.
Why?
Because it is a tough place. It's a hard academic place. It is a hard military place. But we put out the best leaders in this country. And this generation, just like every generation before, we got a lot of patriots. We got a lot of people wanting to serve.
How did it play with Colin Kaepernick and what he did prior to games? Is that a topic of conversation that you've had with the cadets? Midshipmen. But
no, it's not. But I'll tell you, the most of the feedback I got, it's what we fight for. It's you got a right to speak your mind. It's the freedom of speech. It's in the Constitution, and that's what you raise your right hand and swear to protect and defend. Not just everything you agree with, but everything that's in the Constitution.
If your phone rings at 2 a.m, what are you thinking?
Well, first I'm worried that maybe one of my daughters, something happened to them.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we're global.
Yeah.
We're around the globe, around the clock. Things are going to happen all 24 hours. And we're the only global Navy. But we're also America's away team. We don't ever get a home game. and we don't want a home game.
No, we don't.
But one of the things that happens is that people don't see sailors and Marines much. There are no permanent homecomings for sailors and Marines. I mean, the Army and the Air Force are like firemen. They go out and fight fires. They come back to the firehouse. They train to fight more fires. And you got to have them. The Navy is more like the cop on the beat. Our operational schedule, our tempo, is the same in war and in peace. We're out there. We're out forward. That's where the Navy and Marine Corps belongs. And the thing that we uniquely give the country is presence.
Yeah.
Being at the right place, not at the right time, but all the time. We're always there. And so, something's going to be happening around the world. You hope it's not bad, but
if it is,
it's a 24-hour a day job for not just for me, but particularly for those sailors and Marines who are forward.
He is the U.S. Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus, joining us here in the Man Cave. Last time you were on when we talked, and I know you're powerful, and I don't know if you're this powerful, but I said, could we get Top Gun 2 movie made? And I thought we're hinting at maybe we were going to have a Top Gun 2.
We're still trying.
You are. Have you been in talks with Tom Cruise?
Anytime somebody wants to make a movie that's got the Navy in it, we're in talks with them because we're going to get script approval if we're going to help them.
Have there been talks?
Yeah, there've been talks.
Breaking news here: Top Gun 2 has been lit by the Secretary of the Navy. Is that true? Now, is this part of the we'll green light it if I can have a role in the movie? Is that you didn't put that in there?
I really wish I could, but
well, they have to have you.
And I'm going to be gone.
When are you done?
I'm done when this president's done.
That's it.
That's it.
Would you want to stay on?
I've had a great run. I've had, like I said, when I leave, Josephus Daniels, Secretary of the Navy during World War I, had an assistant named Franklin Roosevelt. Mm-hmm. Josephus Daniels took alcohol off Navy ships, got replaced with coffee. Sailors would very sarcastically say, "Let's go get a cup of Joe," which is where that expression came from.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Gideon Wells, Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of the Navy. That's the two people I'm going to be with as longest serving Secretaries of the Navy.
Congratulations.
That's not bad company.
So you're done. You're ready to go.
I'm done. I'll never be ready to leave this job.
Yeah.
But it's our system, and it's time for somebody else to come in.
I also asked if we could get a boat. Doesn't have to be a fancy boat. And we even came up with a tugboat. Could we get a tugboat named after this show? Is that? Are you open to it, though?
You know, I'm sure open to naming things after sports because I've named the USS Cooperstown.
Now you named it.
I named it.
Well, then you got the power.
I get to name all Navy ships.
Well, could you do that before you leave office? Like just a tugboat. Like 10 minutes before as you're walking out the door to say, hey, that tugboat, it's the USS Dan Patrick Show.
You know, if I did that, it would be 10 minutes before I walked out the door. Whether I was wanting to walk out the door or not.
President Obama's not going to care. He'll be fine with that. He will.
Okay.
Trust me.
You know,
I mean, the Cubs won the World Series. He's fine with anything now.
For every ship I name,
yeah,
I get about 100 recommendations, at least 100. And so it's like a former governor of Mississippi told me one time when I was governor-elect. I'm from a town of 1,000 people, and I was the second governor from that town in 32 years. My dad's lawyer got elected governor when I was 7. And he said, anytime you got a job and 10 people want it, and you pick one of them, you just made 9 enemies. And you got one in-grade who thinks he got it on merit.
All right, if you do a USS ESPN before you do a Dan Patrick Show, I'm going to be a little disappointed.
Okay.
Have you named?
I'll make that promise.
You will. There will not be a USS ESPN
before
Dan Patrick Show.
Right.
By the way, I did grab, the secretary brought in a helmet that they're going to wear tomorrow, that Navy is going to wear tomorrow against Army. I assumed it was a gift. I grabbed it. The secretary said, oh, no, I'm taking that with me. You brought in a helmet you can't tease me like that. Bring in a picture next time.
Why not?
Because the helmet, like I keep stuff. Look at this. I'm a hoarder.
You are. Me too.
I would like to have the tie to wear on Football Night in America.
I can make that deal.
You can make that happen.
I can make that happen.
So Sunday night after Navy beats Army, I would have
15th year in a row.
I would have that tie on Football Night in America.
Okay. I'll make that deal because I bought this tie.
Oh, so that's yours. The helmet.
The Navy bought the helmet.
Can I buy that helmet?
Yes.
How much does that helmet cost?
$600.
$600. That's $100 each for all of us here. Yeah, Paulie.
Dan, the colonel behind me, looked at me and tapped me on the shoulder and said, the helmet's coming with us.
Yeah.
And he was not smiling.
Okay.
The team gave me that helmet yesterday.
Well, they did. Oh,
Yeah.
So it's your helmet.
It's my helmet, but I got to write a check for it.
I want to make sure he writes the check here, okay?
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. I got lawyers lined up making sure I do stuff like that.
What was amazing, Senator McCain came in, and I gave him some Dan Patrick Show gear, and he sent me a check back from his personal account for $200. He said, I don't know how much it cost. I hope this covers it. And he sent me a check for $200.
Well, I got to do it for anything worth more than $20 that I get. I have to pay for it.
Okay.
As long as I'm in this job.
All right. I understand it. But I'll take the tie and wear it on Football Night in America. Good luck. Good luck in the game tomorrow. Have fun.
Oh, we're going to have fun. It's going to be a great. It doesn't matter what the records are. It doesn't matter anything. Army, Navy, that's special.
He is the Secretary of the Navy, or as he likes to say, he's the MVP of the Navy. He is at least for, I don't know, a couple more weeks, right? A couple more
About 6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks. Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate it, and thanks for having a sense of humor. And
Dan, I love your show. Listen to it, watch it all the time. And, the sports and the military, real close.
Can you put our show on these battleships? The submarines? Could you make sure that those guys are able to have some entertainment there? You've taken away alcohol, so can you put this back?
I didn't take away alcohol.
I know you
just
didn't.
want to make that clear.
No, of course you didn't.
But no, I have watched lots of games on ships.
Yeah.
Armed Forces Network carries college games, carries pro games.
Yeah.
I was in Azerbaijan and watched Ole Miss and Arkansas in that terrible game where Arkansas beat Ole Miss and knocked us out of the top 4 on a 4th and 25 in overtime.
You're not bitter, though, right? You've moved past it.
No, I haven't.
Well, you always have Navy football.
And that's my team. I mean, you asked me what kind of athlete I was. You know, I was somebody brought me a program from when I was in high school, a freshman, number 89, Raymond Mabus, 5'6", 109, defensive end. But I get to go down on the field. I get to stay on the field with Navy. I get to go in the locker room. I mean, how good is that?
Congrats on your success, and thank you for stopping by. He's the U.S. Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.